welcome to the $1 Million Idea. I'm Minnie Menon. If you're wondering what I'm doing here at Mumbai's iconic Colaba Causeway on a wet afternoon, well, the second of $1 Million Idea starts its journey right here with the promise of getting you India on a t-shirt. They are cool, they are affordable, and they sure can turn heads and bring a smile to your face. That's precisely why Tantra t-shirts make it to a $1 Million Idea list. After all, they're t-shirts, and then there is Tantra with its irreverence, attitude, and tongue-in-cheek humor.
The captions are too good. It's too freaky and all. Cool. You look different. It defines you.
Quite like the man behind the idea, Ranjiv Ramchandani. Tantra started out as Ranjiv's ode to the city he loved, Mumbai, and the iconic hangout joints that you simply couldn't have missed if you've ever been here. But what Ranjiv added to that was a cool old-timer's perspective that was an instant hit.
And this behind me is the famous Gateway of India, which has inspired our Mumbai t-shirt. We're standing in front of Rhythm House, the legendary music store which has inspired a host of our music prints. And right now I'm standing next to the Leopold bar. Many of our t-shirts are about the foreigners who come to India. Leopold has got tons of foreigners. This is Gokul's, the famous Beoda joint of Colaba, and it has inspired our t-shirt, the Patiala peg. And here we are in front of a little known beer joint in Colaba, side street. It's called Alps, and we do a lot of beer t-shirts inspired by joints like these.
Tantra started off as a simple concept, India on a t-shirt for tourists wanting to take away a piece of it. But as the lines got quirkier and more Indian in sensibility, Tantra grew out of the confines of the street and became a must-have on campuses and retail outlets across the country. Today, Tantra sells 100,000 t-shirts a month out of 500 retail outlets and has a dozen signature stores like this one. Rewind a bit and here is how it all started. Hi, how are you? So this is where it all started?
This is where it all started.
In a little shop where Ranjiv walked in 11 years ago with a bag full of t-shirts. This is nice.
He came in with a Jola. He came in and he had already taken the trouble of printing a couple of t-shirts which are very famous classics today. And he sold me this idea about India on a t-shirt and how big a country we are and how we can do so much about putting everything on a print, you know. I said this guy definitely will go places, you know, and maybe he'll take me with him.
Tantra has come a long way, as has Ranjiv, who started off as a microbiologist, went on to be a copywriter in a big ad agency and now is a successful entrepreneur. And yet, at the core, after all these years, both Tantra and he remain the same. Simple.
Adios.
So, Ranjiv, this is where it all started. But the fact is that if you go back a little, you actually started off as a microbiologist. When did you make this complete 360-degree turn?
At the end of the day, you got to do something that's you. And definitely what was me is trying to express myself in a creative way, in a funny way, you know, trying to, you know, touch people on an everyday basis, I think. So that's what it's all about.
What was your parents' reaction really? Because Indian parents spend such a lot of energy and effort to make sure that you've gone through the educational rigmarole. What was their reaction?
Fortunately, it was okay, but they were a little perplexed as to what this guy is doing, whether he knows his mind, you know. But I think I knew my mind, so it kind of worked out.
Right. The other thing is, of course, it's great to have an idea, but to actually build it into some kind of a business plan.
Yes.
You're not a regular MBA kind of a guy who has a taste for finance, etc. I mean, so it must have been a very steep learning curve.
I think basically you keep it simple. It's fairly simple if you keep it simple. I think and you're focused on what you want to do in life and where you want to take any particular idea. As long as you're pushing the right buttons, you can take it up. But of course, scaling it up to a level of maybe 50 countries, 100 countries, that requires a different kind of an expertise.
We'll come to that, but Ranjeev, what I find fascinating about Tantra is that it's not a new or novel concept. I mean, if you've gone through university, you've got, a lot of places where you can actually, write slogans for your girlfriend or something. It's a done thing. But actually to think of it as a business proposition, that's something new.
True. I mean, before we came on the scene, there was nothing like this here in India. I mean, we were the first brand to actually express it creatively on a T-shirt. So before we came, there was nothing. Now it's been fairly common, but at that point in 1997, it was something totally out of the box. So I think we've got that first mover advantage, and it's just a matter of following it up and being consistent, and taking it and making it bigger and bigger and bigger.
You started off with a bunch of partners who fell by the wayside. Why did they fall off? I mean, didn't they have the gumption to take it forward?
Well, maybe some of them didn't think it would ever take off or become big, or they never looked at it from that perspective. It was just let's get in and see what's happening. And in the first 6 months, if it didn't happen, then they would just just leave.
So when was that turning point when you decided, okay, let's go for it?
From the beginning, when we started, I mean, there was no question. I mean, we had the idea, and it's not just the idea; it's how you take that idea through. It's how you exploit it. How it's not just having an idea and then saying, okay, now I've done it and I've got the idea and everything's set. It's taking the idea through idea by idea. I mean, we are only as good as our ideas, right? The T-shirt ideas that we do. So if I come out with a range of trash ideas, the market's going to reject it because they are smart, and soon we'll be like, sales are going to plummet. So we are only as good as our last idea.
And there are lots of good ideas out there. So we'll head to a short break. When we come back, we'll look at some of those ideas and how the whole business of Tantra scaled up to what it is today. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching $1 Million Idea, and I'm at the offices of Ranjeev Ramchandani, the man behind the very cool Tantra T-shirts. Ranjeev, of course, is sitting with Vimal, his business partner, and he says all the business scaling up is thanks to him. Ranjeev, so you're positioning yourself as a creative guy. He's the other very important arm of scaling up, the business head.
Absolutely. I mean, we're together in the sense that he does things which I don't do, and I do things which he doesn't do.
Has he made your life easier?
Absolutely.
Vimal, we spoke about how Ranjeev started out. We actually went to the first retailer that he went with his T-shirts to. But since then, of course, that's I think the romantic part of it. And that then comes to hard business facts and building up a business. How did you go about doing it?
Well, actually, Ranjeev started off, we went about it bottom up, basically. So, unlike today, I mean, unlike, say, a brand or anybody selling their wares or products today, where you got you've got chains, and so you got kind of width. So you rather go to a chain store and get 20, 25 outlets. We actually went in, ground up kind of, and I mean, there was resistance and it was slow to start with, but once people got comfortable and once the sell-throughs, once the numbers and the figures and everything came through, we realized that we had to scale up.
before we get to that, what according to you was the key really? What worked and what were the hurdles in the path for anyone wanting to do a business like yours?
We've kind of learned as we've gone along, to be really honest about this. And we've made mistakes, and obviously, hopefully, we've learned from them.
What is the one mistake that you
Oh,
made?
margin there. Oh, definitely. Retail margin there. So we were
Yeah?
kind of babes in the woods, kind of, so to
Yeah.
speak. But we,
No, you have to tell us more than that.
no, specifically, no. Look, there's certain value that we feel we need to give to the customer. I'm not talking about the value of what is the idea, but in the rupee value. And there are always pressures to actually increase, but until we can hold it, though the bottom line suffers, yes, but until we can hold it, I think we try to be kind of a true value to what we are putting out.
Often in retrospect, you can give far more reason for something to happen than they could have been. In this case, you're targeting the retail side, which has zoomed and boomed over the last couple of years, and the youth segment, which is of course where everybody says the pot of gold is. Was it really planned according to you, or you just were in the right place at the right time?
I think we just did what we love to do. Now, whether it's a small shop or whether it's a large chain store, we've got a product which makes sense, and whoever wants to stock it can stock it and enjoy it. Enjoy the sales, enjoy the sell-throughs, the volumes, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we're still doing what we're doing, which is creating ideas on a t-shirt.
You've spoken like the real creative guy, but let me pose that question to you. Were you at the right place at the right time?
Yes, I think the whole retail boom, or it happened, and we happened to be there. And being early movers, being there at that time, I think has helped us. It's an idea, at the end, and we've translated. The medium is a T-shirt, could be anything, but the strength, we've always focused on the whole creative aspect of it, and just things just actually, believe it or not, just fell into place.
And you're lucky. But, yours is not the only brand in this space. Let's take a look at some of the other brands that have made a mark in the T-shirt space. It's a big market and a tough one if you're in retail and targeting the big moneyed mass of young India. And while Tantra has managed to carve a niche for itself by being different, there are others finding their own space. Brands like People Tree and Nirvana target the high-thinking individuals who have a social conscience or a passion for sporting spirituality on their sleeves. But many of these brands are limited to a few outlets and do a lot of business out of the internet. For Tantra, the real competition comes from the big boys that crowd shop shelves and mind space. But the market is big, and Tantra says it's happy in its pocket with the USP of irreverence. Here is a peek into the creative process at Ranjiv's office, where they're taking a dig at the US president.
How it actually happened is that Parab had this beautiful visual graphic vector of George Bush looking up at the heavens, and we wanted to convert that into something that's relevant for today's kids. So the first thing we did was we gave it some copy which would be relevant to the mood of the occasion. So we've got George W. Bush screwing up the world since 2001. And we all know what 2001 is. So here's this guy looking pretty happy with the way things are turning out. We added some useful icons, There's fighting for oil, and there's the Kalashnikovs and death.
According to estimates, the retail t-shirt market is around 1,500 crore rupees, and t-shirts are growing fast, almost at a 50% growth each year. And it's no wonder then that Tantra has been spreading its wings with new brands like Barking Dogs, Tweeny Weenies, and of course its women's range.